From Poprad to Plymouth to Portugal, we are Radio Tetris International.
The Station of the Stars. RTI.
That'll be us then, and before we get started today, I have a special tribute to make, because not only is Gerry coming to talk to us about the Czechoslovak Veterans Association, and, no, not that one, Stefan, the other one. He's playing with the microphones, for goodness sake. There's so many 80th anniversaries this week. One is that today is the anniversary of the beginning of the Battle of Britain in World War II. And sadly, in some ways, it's also the day of the funeral of the late Dame Vera Lynn. So before we start the show properly, we have a small tribute to those fighter pilots and the people that came from around Europe. 88 were from the Czech and Slovak armies, or air forces, over 100 from Poland, who came to support the RAF as part of the Free RAF. And they flew these. The glorious sound of the Supermarine Spitfire. And as I constantly say on the radio, the reason why we can mess about on the radio is because of these wonderful people. And thank you to Tamara Rossi again for letting us share her music on the radio. Thank you, Tamara. Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. And those Spitfires, will play them again at the end of the programme. This is Postcard from Poprad. I'm Eric Wiltshire at the base of the glorious Tatry Mountains. And we've got a whole host of people on Skype this week. And we'll start round the wrong way, really. We'll get our guest in a moment. Secret. Hello, Rach.
Hi, Uncle Eric.
Are you there?
I am here.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
That's all right, because you've got a lot of talking to do in a minute.
I know, but there's some good news.
Is that?
Yeah, I'll tell you in a minute.
Okay. Dave, are you there?
I'm here. I'm thinking I should have had my head out the window to listen to the two Spitfires that are flying around near East Sussex at this moment.
Oh, I bet that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Oh,
but sadly, I'm locked in a room and can't hear anything.
And those glorious Merlin engines. Oh.
Yeah, they're flying around over Ditchling at the moment, over East Sussex. So if you're in that way, stick your head out the window for 2 minutes and then you can hear the engines.
And you'll hear them all. Hello, Stefan.
Hello, everybody. How are you?
Oh, hang on, you're not on that one. Hang on, let's try... Oh, no, that one. Yeah, try that one.
Hello, everybody. How are you doing?
We're doing well. And we now turn to our guest of the week, who's going to completely take over the beginning of the show. It's the lovely Gerry, who is the chair. Mm-hmm. I always wonder what a chair is. No, never mind. Don't go there, Eric. The Czechoslovak Veterans Association. Gerry, welcome.
Good morning to you all. It's lovely to be part of your radio show on such an auspicious day today.
It's a week full of it, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's lovely. We actually posted this morning about the Battle of Britain, and I didn't know about Dame Vera Lynn. I don't know how that managed to go under my radar, but I'm really pleased it's today. As you say, those Spitfires flying over would be a fitting tribute to her as well.
Absolutely. And you have greetings from Martia, who says, listening and sending greetings, looking forward to Gerry. We will remember them. You're so accurate, Martia. Dave and Rach are going to they can jump in and ask questions in a minute. But first of all, Gerry, what do you do?
Okay, so basically I am the chair, whatever that means, the leader of the gang, for the Memorial Association for Free Czechoslovak Veterans. So we are a group of people that are a mixture of enthusiasts and family and friends of Czechoslovak veterans, and we've come together to continue their memory. There were originally two associations in the UK, the Free Czechoslovak Air Force Association and the Association of Czechoslovak Legionaries Abroad. And they were set up by the veterans themselves. And obviously, as they've passed away, the need to remember them need to be done in a slightly different way. So we created our new association in 2018.
Wow.
And so we're a baby association, but we're standing on the shoulders of giants before us.
Right, I'm going to say hello to a few people. Hello to Torres. Hello to Catherine. Nice to have you with us. Faisal is with us. Some guy called Dave Rose. Don't know who he is. Mustafa, hello. Nice to have your company. And Gibson, nice to have your company as well. Mitchell's with us. Hi, Mitchell. And also Sally Jowett. I think she's one of yours, Gerry.
She is one of ours. Good morning, Sally. Yes, her and her team are very close to us. Nice to have her on board.
Lovely stuff. Now, you've had, we can tie it all together with today, obviously, but Tuesday was a very, very, very special day for you. Tell us all about it.
Okay, so on Tuesday, the 7th of July, we had the 80th anniversary of the Free Czechoslovak forces arriving here in the United Kingdom after the fall of France. Many people will have heard about Dunkirk and the British forces being evacuated from there, but a similar equivalent was happening in the south of France, and the Czechoslovak troops were fortunate enough to be brought out of there by British ships, and they were taken to Liverpool and Plymouth, and they arrived on the 7th of July.
Some of them came from Gibraltar, didn't they?
They did. In fact, my grandfather was on a coal ship called the Northmore, and that actually went into Gibraltar, and then he came out of Gibraltar on the Viceroy of India and went into Plymouth.
Now I get it. That's the connection. Your grandfather is Czech.
So my grandfather is a Czech veteran, yes. And he actually did what a lot of Czechs did, is he escaped in the January of 1939, and he went across Europe and had to join the French Foreign Legion.
All right.
So he ended up in the south of France as part of the French Foreign Legion. And then when, obviously, France capitulated, the Czechs were given the opportunity, if they had family in France, they could finish the war and go back to their families. Mm-hmm. But he and his comrades decided they wanted to continue the fight, and the only way they could do that was to get to Great Britain, to get to England. And the 80th anniversary was of them arriving at Cholmondeley Park, where the Marquis of Cholmondeley gave them the opportunity to set up a tented village and regroup there.
And Cholmondeley Park's still got some huge relevance today, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. The Marquis of Cholmondeley and his family have been very supportive of us continuing to meet there for the anniversary. There's a special memorial stone there that was created by a young Jan Belsky, who was a famous renowned sculptor later in life. Uh-huh. And we meet as close as we can each weekend to the 7th of July to remember those veterans and their coming together at Cholmondeley, and the hospitality that the local people showed to them, especially after the disappointment of the fall of France.
Now, how did all... Where I'm getting confused a little bit, I get it, your grandfather's there, and it's a wonderful thing that you're doing. How do you get all the people to support you to effectively drive this new organisation forward?
So what we did was we obviously initially got in contact and kept in contact with the Free Czech Air Force Association, to their group there, and the people that used to come to Brookwood Memorial. We as an association, we meet 3 times a year, so twice at Brookwood Military Cemetery, where there are veterans that passed away during the war that are there, and then also there's a plot of veterans that survived the war and the persecution and were buried here in the UK. So there's two events where we collect people there, and then also we meet at Cholmondeley, and we obviously have a list of people that were involved with the old association there.
So sorry, Gerry, the previous one is where the Slovak president went this year.
Yes, exactly. So we had the honour of having Susanna Chaputova, and Jan Telensky himself came with a lot of people to welcome her to Brookwood, where she paid her respects. So Brookwood and Cholmondeley are 2 halves of the same thing, and we collect people together to meet physically face to face. But I have to say, it's down to Marta and Marian Majacik, who are my Slovak team. They've supported me with the social media side of it, and that's where it's really taken off in the past couple of years, through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we're spreading the message far and wide through social media.
Gerry, you know how to do all this stuff. You're just delegating, aren't you?
Well, no, I'm learning from a slightly younger team, but she has taught me well, and I do know how to do a bit of it as well. We're a big team, we're a small team, but we've got lots of skills.
What is it's clear and obvious that you're paying tribute to the veterans, but there must be some spin-offs from this that continue with the living today. How are you getting other things going at the same time?
Yes, I mean, it's amazing. I think what's happened is that, from my experience, when the veterans were alive, I was a little girl, I grew up with the veterans around me. I had no idea. They didn't talk about it. It was something that they'd been through it, they just wanted to be together and have fun and have parties, and I was a little girl in that, so I knew a lot of veterans without realising it. But now that the veterans have gone, we have lots of families who are very proud of their stories, and they want to find people of like mind where they can share the stories and talk about it and say, what do you know about this, and how did this happen? And we've come together to make a larger group, and the most important thing for us is to get the stories out there correctly with as little fake news attached to them as possible, passed to the Czech and Slovak schools in the UK, and obviously the children in Slovakia and also in Czech Republic, so they learn it. So the future is about getting young people to know about their history. The spin-offs of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I know that Adam's listening at the moment, and he's up very early, so thank you, Adam. He's from the Friends of the Slovak Association in Washington, D.C., and he's up at the moment, and he very kindly agreed to put the MAFCSV Facebook things onto their big group.
Oh, thanks, Adam. That's wonderful.
I mean, lovely fella. And also we should say thank you to Maria as well at the Czech and Slovak Association in London, who have also been promoting you and promoting this programme. So thanks, one and all. And there's some other ones. There's another one I spoke to in Canada who are also helping you out, and that's the Czechoslovak Association that are helping as well. And more interestingly is all the people in certainly Bratislava, some in Prague, and some of the family members of past veterans now in Poprad itself. It was amazing to talk to some yesterday who are thrilled that you're on the show. So well done, you.
Well, thank you, and also say to them, especially far and wide, the more we spread this message, the more we get their veteran stories out there. We will remember them. That they will live on, and that's the most important thing. They're such, like Dame Vera Lynn today and the Queen, such inspiration during difficult times, and our veteran stories are the same. So inspirational.
Yeah, I mean, I often, I said it at the beginning, Gerry, and I'll say it whilst my lips keep working. Thank you, Dave. Dave Rhodes has just put the Memorial Association for Free Czechoslovak Veterans on the Facebook page for everybody who's clicking on there. They can see it there as well.
Thank you.
And, we... Under normal circumstances, we muck about on the radio every Friday. The rest of the programmes are all fun and dandy, and it's all messing about because we like to have fun on the radio. And if it wasn't for these people, these wonderful people, many of whom gave the ultimate sacrifice, we couldn't mess about on the radio like we do now. I mean, I'm sitting in Poprad in Slovakia, which was Czechoslovakia then. You're in the UK. I'd be talking German, for goodness sake, and I certainly wouldn't be allowed to talk to you guys on Skype. It would never have happened. So, I beg everybody, please look up this history, because what you have today is only possible because of all these veterans decades ago, in fact, 70, 80 years ago, depending on the timescale, 80, 75. And, if it wasn't for these guys, we wouldn't be mucking about like we are now, and we think we've got a tough life. For goodness sake, it's nothing compared to what they went through, and they did it all for us without asking for anything in return. So we should support them more and more, get that message out that these wonderful people... I mean, can you imagine what it was like for a guy who leaves Czechoslovakia, gets himself smuggled into France, then has to get smuggled to Gibraltar, then they throw him on a coal ship, for goodness sake, and send him up to a country where he hasn't got a word of English. It must have been horrific, Gerry.
I think I'm very, very fortunate. I need to thank my grandmother. Unfortunately, my grandfather died when I was 21, and he wrote, luckily, his diaries in Czech, and my grandma translated them for me, so I'm really blessed to have it firsthand. And he talks with such passion about his country, his family, and what he also talks about is the welcome, the wonderful British welcome that they all received on arrival in the UK. And I think that was the start of the very close relationship between the Brits and the Czechoslovaks at the time, and why they were so passionate for fighting for freedom and democracy.
There is a closeness, and I will share a story now, which I think I've done before, from a British veteran who sadly died after 2 weeks after he went back to England. But he came here, he wrote to me. I don't know how he got the radio address, but he wrote, and he was gifted a stay in Aqua City because he was a rear gunner in a Lancaster bomber, which got shot down over the Tatras. And the resistance got him, smuggled him to Switzerland. He never had a chance to thank them, and some 70 years after the event, he managed to get back to the Tatras. The actual parents who were in the resistance had passed away, sadly, but the children met him, and you had this amazing connection between a vet and this family. We had to use translators, obviously, and the emotion was, you couldn't measure it, Gerry. You just couldn't measure it. And there's still this weird connection between both countries that you cannot measure. It's impossible. You know what I mean?
It is very special, and when we're fortunate, as I said to you about with Marta and Marion, they work really closely with the British Embassy on events in Slovakia. So you talk about special relationship, and there'll be a new British ambassador coming later in the year.
That's August, by the way.
Yeah, August. So
yes.
That'll be lovely. And we hope to continue that because they arrange a memorial event at Joseph Gabčík's family house for the 11th of the 11th. And Marta and Marion were saying how remembrance is done slightly different in Slovakia, and trying to get hold of what we call the British poppy is not so easy. Things we take for granted here in the UK, and it's about those events, those special British relationships with the Slovaks to remember the veterans. Doing things like this together is brilliant.
I think that you're absolutely right, because the first Andy Garth, who's the current ambassador, he arranged the first ever in Bratislava remembrance service in November 4 years ago. My wife and I went, and I was introduced to a tank, Czechoslovak tank commander, and also a Spitfire pilot. Wonderful people. The tank commander was a little monkey, it has to be said, because he made me speak in Slovak, which is not very good from me, Gerry, it has to be said. And then he walked a couple of metres away, he turned round, very proud man, he stood straight, he saluted me, and in English he said, "I'll be seeing you." And I thought, marvellous, what a sense of humour, absolutely brilliant.
They all had twinkles in their eyes. Their vets had amazing sense of humours like that. I've met a few myself, same sort of heart. All.
So what's the future for the association? Where do you want to take it? What do you want to do with it?
Well, the most important thing is that we continue to hold events at Brookwood and Chomley and develop those. That's the first thing. Secondly, we want to obviously open our arms to all those people who are interested and within Czech Republic, Slovakia, Canada, please, Australia, please. We know those Czechoslovak veterans families that went out there after.
Hold on a minute. I'm going to jump over the top of you here. Rachel?
Yes, all.
You're in Australia.
That's the rumour.
Can I hook you up with Gerry?
Yeah.
And maybe you can help her.
Well, do you know what? I think my husband would be better pressed to help her.
Go on.
Because Robbie is the biggest history buff on planet Earth.
Right.
But more importantly, he is a war history buff.
Wow.
Oh.
He's also a mad genealogy fanatic. And he knows everything about everything in terms of what war. I told him that I was talking to you guys tonight, and he was able to rattle off all this information about what we were going to talk about. And I think I'd be as useful to you as a bag of wet hair, but I would really like to facilitate an introduction between you and my husband. I think you guys would have oodles to talk about, and he would be very, very happy to offer any assistance required in this country.
There you go.
That's fantastic, and that's where we want to go next. We want to look at trying to develop the relationships with far and wide, and bring people together to share the stories, put them out to the schools. We're really interested in working with schools to try and make them interested in the future, because if we don't pass this passion to them, when my generation goes, we don't want it to die again. We want it to carry on. We want to pass this torch, this baton on to the next generation.
Yeah.
And we want as many people to feel that they can share their family stories. You'd be amazed. There are people out there who speak to veterans' families. They get the photographs. They write books and things. And suddenly these veteran families are not included in it. They're almost standing on their shoulders and making. I'm not saying making money, but they're living their lives through the veterans'
I
stories.
get it. Yeah, I get it.
And we don't want to copyright any of that. We want to make this information free to people, because if you start making people pay for it, it's being given out in dribs and drabs. It's not a free for everyone.
Mm.
Really, that information is free and available. So, if veterans out there, veterans' families have got things that they want to share with us, we'd love to hear from you. Via Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, you can email us.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear from you.
There is a kind of quaint irony here, in that we're very high tech. We're using all the high tech toys to talk to the guys today. But I'm also going to say thank you to Tim from Unique Radio, because we're actually being broadcast on 3210 kilohertz in the old shortwave band across Australia.
Wow.
How about that? You're on the old... What they used to use for radio communications, you're talking on it right now, Gerry.
I feel honoured. Thank you very much, Tim. That's really good.
He's a lovely fella, he really is. OK, listen, Dave's put the address of the Memorial Association onto Facebook. Dave, could you do the same thing and put it onto You Now for me, mate, so we get all those thousands of people as well, because that'd be really cool. And
it's already there.
Oh, it's already there. OK, done. He's done it already. Blimey, he has as well. And thank you to all the people, and I have to say, thank you to the people all giving us lots of love on You Now. That is really fantastic. We're getting thumbs up all over the place. So well done to you, Gerry. You're selling it well.
Well, great. And just say, the most important thing is if you go to our Facebook page and you scroll back, you want stories, you want information. It is all there. We're always keen to hear from you. But, the event that we did on Tuesday, we did lots of posts about what life was like on the Cholmondeley camp.
Didn't you just?
Yeah, it been about 35 in the end, which was wonderful. And today we've posted about the Battle of Britain. I was actually there at Runnymede, the RAF memorial to the missing, on Monday. I actually went over with my son, my 16-year-old son, and we took photographs and laid a wreath over there, especially for Battle of Britain week this week.
Okay, well, message from Tim for you, or as he's known, Aussie Tim. He just simply says, "My pleasure, Gerry."
Oh, thank you, Tim.
That's lovely, isn't it? Anyway, listen, we've got to move on. I'm sure you're drying up like crazy. Thank you to the other girls who are with us, including Sally and Martia. Great work. The whole team. It's a team thing. It's a bit like RTI. It's a team thing.
It is. Yeah. And Sally's done an amazing job with Joseph Gabchik and Jan Kubish. So well done, Sally. She's done some fantastic work with John Martin on that. So.
Well, I'll tell you what. Don't be a stranger. Come back and talk to us again, please.
Love to. Yeah, love to.
And tell us what you're doing, and if you've got some events, tell us about it. We'll help you get as many people as we can get, and equally, if you are one of the massive family of RTI, go over and join the Facebook group that David's kindly put everywhere, and give them, if nothing else, a little bit of moral support. Is the most amazing thing. It does go a long way. Gerry, thanks ever so much, my love. You're a super lady. And
thanks, Eric.
And thanks to your team as well for all the wonderful stuff that we were able to share on Tuesday to remind people of why we're able to do what we're doing today. You're wonderful people. God bless you, mate. Take care.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye, darling.
Bye,
Take care.
Bye.
Bye, thanks.
She's gone. She's there, she was gone. It's Rach and Dave and Stefan.
Hey.
Hey.
Mitchell says, "Thank you, Gerry. Very interesting." I agree, Mitchell. I agree. Thank you, Sally. You're very welcome. I'll give you the link to the podcast a bit later on, Sally, so you can put it onto your website as well. It'll be open, free, and all that sort of stuff. We've got to go to Rachel first before we talk to anybody else. Lots of news down in Australia with an impending lockdown.
Well, yeah, it's already happened.
Yeah.
We had. Hang on, I'll gather my thoughts.
Right.
On Wednesday, they shut the border between New South Wales and Victoria, and that is a big deal because it has never been closed. Well, it's been closed once, and that was when the Spanish flu was about, and that was 100 years ago. It's never been closed since. During the whole COVID stuff, it was not closed again, so they left it open. Now that we've got a second wave here in my hometown. I know I talk about the numbers all the time and that they seem very feeble compared to other places, but I think you guys will remember last time I spoke to you, it was like 70 or something in a night. Mm-hmm. It's now 288, so it's getting way out of control. Because it went so out of control, the Premier has locked us down again into our stage 3 lockdown, which means you can't leave the house. Mm-hmm. I can because I have to go to work. But what the border closure means is, and every state has closed their border to us now because we are very infectious and we're the dirty kids on the playground that nobody wants to play with. Mm-hmm. And that's fine. They got to do what they got to do. But because the border locked down, this all meant pretty nasty things for myself.
Yeah.
And I thought this is exactly what we were trying to avoid. Rob left Western Australia because they would not open their border and he couldn't come home. And we discussed it, and he was offered a job opportunity in New South Wales, and he took it based on the fact that it would be a really unlikely, 1,000,001 chance that they would shut the border between Victoria and New South Wales, and they have. So now we find ourselves in the same situation as when he was away. He's gone. Mm-hmm. He's gone now. He was due back today. He can't come home. and we don't know when he's going to come home. That being said, an hour before I've got on the radio with you guys, he has been given a special exemption permit, and he is in a car on his way home as we speak.
Wow!
Ooh!
Yeah. So Robbie's coming
Wow!
home, and he'll have to go back next week when he would ordinarily be going back. But this means that he can cross the border on the other side, and he's going to be okay. Unless he's sick or has a temperature, he doesn't have to quarantine. He goes straight back to work.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that, because a couple of people have commented. They sent emails actually to studio@rti.fm asking why we continue with the great bits that Dave found, the voiceovers saying, you know, keep your distance and so on and so forth, and the session singers doing, you know, wash your hands, and asking me why we were still playing them, and it is a negative positive thing. I just had this feeling from day one that whilst everybody was going, we can fix all this, blah, 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 blah. Okay, no, you can't. It's a virus. It's like a computer virus. When it gets in there, unless everybody gets rid of it, it's going to come back again. And there is going to be a second burst, second wave, they call it. And we've carried on relentlessly playing these little jingles, reminding people what to do. You know, the government talking about being sensible about where you're going. And we've carried on doing it because I am just so nervous for the whole thing. It's just unbelievable.
It's really devastating. Well, see, our restrictions lifted not that long ago, and so that meant that businesses were allowed to open. Everybody went back to work. We still had to do social distancing and being very careful, et cetera, because that's just common sense.
Yep.
But we had 0 cases in Melbourne, 0. And then now we've shut these businesses down again. People are not going to survive. Businesses are going to go under because we've been locked down again. And if the numbers continue to rise like they are, this lockdown will go on for longer. At the moment, they've said 6 weeks, but it's going to go on longer if people don't get in the boat and row. Wear a mask, wash your hands, keep away from people, stay home if you can.
Absolutely. I've got a couple of messages coming. One from Paul who says, wash your hands? Hands? I thought it was wash your feet. You must listen more closely, Paul. Yes, you're dead right. March has just sent us a lovely message. Thank you for this lovely interview, and thank you, RTI, for the opportunity, and thanks to Gerry for representing the association so wonderfully and passionately, as she always does about our veterans, on behalf of the MAFCSV, which is hard to say, Martia. The team, that's Martia saying thank you, and near problem, Martia, near problem. Peckney weekend, Martia, and you know, it's one of those things we should do, because we've got the same problem, Rach, in Slovakia. Yeah,
we do.
Go on, you tell the story.
But which one do you want me to tell?
The COVID coming back.
Rising. Actually, right now our Prime Minister is actually dealing with the situation. They are monitoring how the things are evolving. We have something around 28, I think, or even more.
Which
people.
Again doesn't sound like big numbers, but we're a small country.
Yeah, we are like about 5 million inhabitants in this country.
Yeah,
so.
well, 5.5 million. Yeah, that's it. It's small.
So it's a small country, and so we are right now watching very carefully what's going on. There are some rumors that Czech Republic will maybe close the borders and whatnot. So it is really fragile right now, and I think we were in much more we were much more closed to the outside world with less numbers, but I think that our government is realizing that it will hurt economy so much that we need to stay open as much as possible.
It's a balancing act, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I feel. So
we'll see. I've got a lovely message back. Ďakujem pekný víkend a vám. That's from Marcia. I won't try and write it, Marcia, because my written Slovak is appalling. That'll make you chuckle. Anyway, ďakujem veľmi pekne, Marcia. Dovidenia. And it's not just the cases, it's the infected people that's gone crazy as well, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Again, number in Slovakia is not something which would intimidate any other country. For example, United States, they are like, I think from yesterday, there are 65,000 positively tested over there. Over here, it is just 28 people. So the numbers are not so big. But again, we're a small country. We're still on the beginning of our capitalist way. Even we are, I don't know how many years from Velvet Revolution.
27.
No, almost 30 years.
Yeah.
But still, our government is dealing with crooks they found from the previous government and whatnot. So economy is not that strong right now. So we're all dealing with plenty of different...
Oh, can I jump over the top of you? Gerry, can you edit your message and take the emails out, please? Some silly people take the email addresses and will spam you with them. So we would much rather people communicate with you via the Facebook page because it's not going to get spammed. It's lovely. I don't mind them being there, but... anything that's, you'll notice when I write an email address, I write it in such a way that people understand it, but the spammy people, which we have to think about everywhere, don't get hold of them. And Gerry, you're very welcome. She says, thanks so much, Eric and the gang. Really appreciate the opportunity to talk to you all today. Anyone who wants to get in touch about our team, she suggests email, but can we amend that to... pretty please nicely, Gerry, can you amend that to the Facebook page or Twitter rather than your emails, just to be on the safe side? Otherwise, well, Stefan and I know about these idiots that come on.
Yeah.
We've had to work with
Golden Boys and whatnot.
Yeah, Golden Boys especially. Quick question for Rach. How close are the Aussie scientists to making a COVID vaccine? Rach?
I think they're really close. There's some really cool people in mostly Queensland, I'm pretty sure, although there's a few here in Melbourne, and they are getting ridiculously close. They've been able to develop a test that is not as invasive as the regular COVID test that just is based on saliva, and I think they did that because the discomfort of children being tested, they were quite distressed at that test, because it's not the most comfortable thing in the world. I've had one. You know, I think in terms of a vaccine, I think we're right up there with everybody else. I know that it's been a really sort of global collaborative effort too with the vaccine. I think people are really sharing their ideas and sharing their results and sharing, you know, what they found and whatever techniques they're using to develop their vaccines. I think it's been a really nice global sharing. Of course, we just want Big Pharma to stay out of it so that we can actually get our hands on it and so that people who don't have lots of money can get their hands on it. But I think we're going to find that vaccine once they develop it. I don't think we'll be able to travel overseas without having had it.
No, I agree. Dave, coming to you now, because I mean, Boris Johnson's really putting a brave... I mean, he's sounding more Churchillian every day, putting a brave face on this thing and trying to get businesses working and get the economy moving. But it's not working, is it?
Oh, well, I don't know. I mean, the things that are being changed today are... so. Anybody arriving in the UK from about 75 different countries no longer have to self-isolate for 2 weeks. And then tomorrow, all the outdoor swimming pools and outdoor sports like cricket can start again, and you can have an outdoor performance from a theatre or a concert. And then Monday is beauticians, spas, tanning salons, and tattoo parlours can reopen.
But not all of them. I've been checking that one. There's, what do they call it? It's, golly gosh. It's, in salons, there are people that do, like tattooing for albino people and things like that, which has got a very special name, which I can't remember. And apparently, these guys, which are kind of quasi-tattooists, can't actually, they're not included. So you've got some parts of the beauty industry open and other parts of the beauty industry that won't be open, which is bonkers.
Curious.
Yeah, curiouser and curiouser.
But as far as the figures are concerned, and I can give you a comparison to last Friday.
Mm-hmm.
So yesterday, they always announced the figures on a Thursday, and they were for Wednesday. So these were Thursday's figures.
Mm-hmm.
So new deaths yesterday announced were 85, and that's in comparison of the previous week of being 89. So it's gone down 4. Total deaths are now at 44,602. So that's 607 more than last Friday. Total new cases was 66, as opposed to 576 the week before, and that gives us the total confirmed cases of 287,621.
Ouch.
But that's only 3,864 higher than last week. So it's sort of creeping up and creeping down in places, but we seem to be opening up more and more. So I guess we wait and see what happens.
I still think it's critical that, wherever you are in the world, you follow the hygiene practices, which we should be doing anyway. I mean, I remember as a kid, whenever I came in from the garden, the first thing Mum said was, wash your hands.
Mine too.
Yeah. Thanks, Gerry. She's just amended the message. Well done, you. And we all had to do stuff that was commonplace, and yet today we don't seem to do it anymore, even the adults, for goodness sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do. It's funny, because they talk about washing your hands for 20 seconds.
Yeah.
I always wash my hands like I'm about to do a surgery.
Yeah.
And the girls at work, whenever we're in the bathroom, and if somebody happens to be in the bathroom at the same time, they've always just be gobsmacked at the lengths I will go to get clean hands.
Yeah.
And they were, why do you do that? Why do you do it like that? What are you doing? And I said, well, first of all, my mother brought me up right. Second of all, you wash your hands while you're talking to me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Third of all, thirdly, do you notice that I never get sick? And they're like, oh, you never get sick. I'm like, you guys are always leaning all over the top of each other and swapping phones and this and that. You've got to be mindful, and that's what's been the biggest concern to me, is that these millennials, bless them, but they seem to just not have a care in the world with this thing. And I thought, you understand that, I don't know what it's like anywhere else, but in Australia, it's the 18 to 30s that are the sickest all the time. They're the ones who've been contracting this thing that they believe in their heart and soul they can't catch or won't kill them.
Yeah, Ian's saying I'm following the rules in the UK and some people are not doing it. I wonder why. And I feel sorry for Australia having to be locked down again. And we all concur with that, Ian, the lovely Ian up in Scotland. Also got to say hi to Dave Hills, who's with us in Southampton as well, who's doing some amazing projects. We'll find out more about those in the weeks and months ahead, because there's some fabulous products coming through. Well, projects, not products. Not only that, I've got to share something. Something.
Oh, you're going to share with the group?
Yes. Was a well-known programme on the BBC called Top of the Pops.
I remember that show.
Ah, yes.
We got that show.
You got that show. Now, if you knew somebody on Top of the Pops, you were like a mini god, weren't you?
You were a top of the pop yourself.
Yes, absolutely. And guess who Dave's going to be talking to soon?
A pop of a top?
A top of a popper.
Oh dear.
So,
I despair.
I know. And anybody who's an 80s music fan will remember the band H20. That's some... I'm trying to think. They were certainly in the top 20 anyway. I can't remember the exact numbers. And hence they were on Top of the Pops. Ian has gone back, after being an author for decades, has gone back to music. And he's come to us, and Uncle Dave's going to talk to him soon.
That's very cool, Uncle Dave.
That is, isn't it?
I try my best.
Or as your mother would say...
If I hear one mention of Kylie Minogue, I will not listen anymore.
Okay. Or as Dave's mother would say, he's very trying.
Takes one to know one.
Oh, thank you very much. But no, that's coming up soon. He's got a great new single out. Vierka thinks it's lovely. And apparently, Dave, you're going to be playing this before it's been released.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Just.
Yes.
Yes, I'm just engaging brain here,
yes.
don't worry.
Hi, Shab.
They had 2 UK top 40 hits in 1983.
Yes.
With the singles I Dream to Sleep and Just Outside of Heaven.
Yeah.
And they were H2O.
Yes.
Not H20.
Well, it's the same difference. It's quicker my way. So look out for more of those. Fab interview last night from the country scene as well. Unbelievable.
Wayne Warner. Yes,
Yeah.
he's a good man.
He's a bit of a gas to do, isn't he?
Oh, he was brilliant. And the words shamelessly plugging RTI just don't come close.
Yeah,
He had definitely done his homework before I spoke to him.
Yeah, this
he
is
was
true.
Very cool.
Yeah. Paul Rustling's complaining. Where's Dave's daughter?
Probably in bed asleep, to be entirely honest. She was cooking shortbread this morning at about 2 a.m.
Oh my word!
So we had another round of shortbread baby Yodas.
Oh,
That's the best thing
Oh,
ever.
nice.
They were great, those pizzas. I love those pizzas.
Yeah, me too.
Those.
I love them.
It's even better, I must say. They are awesome.
Yeah, don't rub it in.
Yeah, that's
Apparently
true.
she's going to do a Swiss roll next.
But isn't it
Now,
too
what-
soon to
you know
bake
what? If
Baby
you stay
Yoda's?
any longer-
It is not even
if you
season
stay-
2 of Mandalorian.
Dave?
Hang on, I heard
Oh,
two
right.
conversations then. Sorry, Stefan, I didn't hear what you said.
Yeah, it is too soon to bake little Baby Yoda's already. It is not season 2 of Mandalorian yet.
Well, she's
True.
getting practice.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Dave, if she stays any longer, you're going to turn into a Swiss roll.
Oh, that's very true. Here for another week. I'm not sure whether I'll still be here next week.
Yeah, Tim's got to rush. Tim's got to rush off. Great program, guys. Catch you on Monday. Still on the air on the top of the hour. That's on Unique Radio 3210. And apparently, Mitchell enjoyed your interview last night, Dave.
Oh, cool.
Isn't
Thank
that
you, Mitchell.
nice? Isn't that lovely? Actually, I didn't want to make him too flipping big-headed because yesterday afternoon I came in here, as one does, and I looked at the screen and I'm going, flipping heck. And Dave was getting this love from all over the world. It's quite awesome.
Yeah, but Dave's a good guy. Like, we love Dave. Dave's good value. I like Dave. I
Oh,
think we
right.
should keep him. Can we keep him? I'll walk him and feed him. And
Will you?
It's all right. Louise is keeping me well fed.
Yeah, but just think of the big plastic bag he'd have to carry, Rach.
that's all right. I've got lots of big plastic baggies around here. I live with Rob, you know.
Stefan's looking at me going, what the hell are you on about?
Yeah.
Which is
Don't worry, Stefan. It's just toilet humour. Run with it.
it's toilet humour.
Oh, okay.
Because when you take a dog for a walk, you have to carry a little bag, yes?
Yeah.
Well, if you took a Dave for a walk, it'd be a very big bag, wouldn't it?
Oh, I see.
Yes. Okay.
Don't go down to his level, Stefan.
Yeah. I totally understand.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. I had all these things in my head to talk about, and they've completely gone because of the wonderful things that we spoke to Gerry about. I'm still kind of like blown away by that special lady. She was absolutely fabulous. Do support her, guys. It's a wonderful organisation to support, and they are doing other things. And I love this bit about sharing it around the world. That's amazing.
Yeah, like I said, get in touch with Robbie. He'd be right into this.
Yeah.
He'll be very excited to have something to do when he's locked up in the snowy mountains.
Okay, yes, I think we can do that. I'll just tell him on Facebook.
Yeah, just tell him.
Yeah. Well, that's what
He's
you...
very obedient.
That's
He's
what-
got a big baggie too.
He's
In
obviously...
other news, it's Teddy Bear's Picnic Day. Yes, apparently so. As well as Don't Step on a Bee Day.
Oh, I don't like bees. I'm allergic to bees, though. I don't want to go anywhere near them. I won't step on them for sure.
Yeah, but you get wet.
No, a bee as in an... Oh, I give up.
What? It's a bee day.
Gary is commenting. You are too kind, Eric. And will do, Rachel.
Okay. Yes, Gerry's mentioning passing comment. We better not go there. We've only got a few minutes left because I am going to play the Tamara Rossi single as a tribute to Dame Vera Lynn in full at the end of the show with those wonderful Merlin engines from the Supermarine Spitfires as well, because they just are fantastic. Dave and I used to live very close to each other, and on the air show at Biggin Hill, which wasn't this year and normally is, you'd stand in the garden and you'd have the sound of a Lancaster, a Hurricane and a Spitfire, and it used to make the ground shake beneath me, because we're on the flight path into Biggin Hill, and it's a historic flight. And when they flew over, there was a double emotion, one of, like, the wow factor, but also that wonderful feeling of, wow, we're safe, because they were there. And it's just a wonderful thing to experience. If you ever get a chance, do go. And I gather that the village where Dame Vera Lynn is being buried today, there is actually going to be a fly past the Spitfires as well, which I just think...
It's happened.
It's happened,
It happened at midday. And today is just a private funeral. There will be a full memorial held at a later date to be arranged.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
But yeah, there were 2 Spitfires flying around over East Sussex earlier, and I saw a little bit of it on the news just before we came on air, and it looked awesome.
They just do, don't they?
Yeah.
Do you know, one of these days I've got to go to Biggleswade. I just have to. No?
Go on.
Shuttleworth.
Ah, right.
Yes. That's a great... If you've never been, Shuttleworth is a fantastic museum, and it's just an amazing place to go and find out about the machines. I shouldn't read the beginning of this message out at all, you know, really, because it's a bit bad.
This is a fab programme.
No, that's a good bit.
All right.
The next bit is, I haven't heard about you guys before.
Oh, that's all right. I haven't heard about me either.
No, I haven't either. I'm a legend in my own lunchbox, you know.
Who are we again?
I don't know. Who are we? We've lived in the UK for 8 years, and we miss our second home, UK, so much. We'll definitely be listening to you have a little bit of the UK here in Slovakia for, it says Seymour, for us. Yes, of course. That's what we like to do. Marcia, where do you live? I wonder where she lives.
Don't get too... Just a general. We don't want the address.
Don't be...
Otherwise, Eric will come round and that's...
I'll be after a cup of tea.
We mentioned this earlier. The Runnymede Air Force Memorial. It is open to the public. It's an amazing place to go to. It's so peaceful and quiet.
Stefan's doing PR now.
Yeah, I'm trying to.
Yeah, not Wednesdays anymore though. We've dropped that one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we dropped the Wednesday.
We dropped it because COVID was going down, and we might have to bring the damn thing back if it goes back up again. But we're Mondays and Fridays at the moment, and at the same time we're on Unique Radio on 3210 down in Australia as well, which is fantastic. Mitchell says, "Good to hear Stefan again," which is rather nice.
My pleasure.
You're